Hello, and thank you for considering the Prepared Montessori Institute as a possible training center for your Montessori teacher certification. I'm going to go over our early childhood certifications here. They have the same structure and overall path to graduation. Just note that the content will change. It's different just because it's depending on the age range that you choose. So you need to choose between either Neonatal and toddler, which is 0 to 3, or more of the preschool age, 3 to 6 for Children's House. You'll note that the path is broken down into 3 phases. The first one is called Foundational Studies, where you will build that foundation to really continue on through the other 2 phases. That's why Foundational Studies is a little bit more scheduled and structured, okay? And you'll need to apply to the foundational study schedule that works for you. So let's take a look at April 2023 here. There's a deadline to enroll or apply, and then you have community workshops to start with, weekly workshops where you will meet with a live instructor. You'll get support through them. You'll connect with other learners. You'll actually start practicing some Montessori lessons and concepts and progress a little bit through your independent work. So you'll start to build kind of this like self-study routine and really get used to our learning management system and kind of how to navigate your journey. So then you could either decide to take some time for that independent work before you dive into your live online like seminar schedule, or you could dive right in. Okay, so we offer some flexibility where you need to choose between your seminar schedule. An example here is whether, like I said, you dive in right after those first 4 weeks and go in the evening, at least in Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 10:30. So it is a 3.5 hour block here. Or you wait about a month and dive in during the day, 12 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Of course, you have different deadlines of when you'd finish foundational studies. So whatever works for you, kind of your schedule, it's up to you. Okay? You'll just have to indicate on your application which seminar schedule you are doing. Now, I mentioned independent work, right? Like I said, you're already going to dive into those Montessori lessons. So make sure you have access to materials. All right, you don't need access to a Montessori classroom just yet if you don't have it, but definitely to materials so you complete some of these album work. And then you'll also do some classroom observation. So you can do them in person if you have access to one and can, you know, schedule it in, or we do have them by recordings and you could do it virtually. You'll do an assessment for your foundational study seminars as well as for some of the albums before you move on to the next 2 phases. You'll notice in continuing studies that you can continue to go to these workshops, and get the live feedback from an instructor and connect with others, really progress through that, album study that you continue to need to do throughout your whole time. You'll continue to do the 30 hours of observations as well as seminars. Note that these seminars are only 90 minutes long and there's 30 sessions. I'll show you a little bit in a second of how to connect and see the schedule as an example. My continuing studies, the big difference is here in the practice teaching review. By now, you need access to an authentic, a Montessori classroom running an authentic Montessori curriculum for that age range and has the full range of materials. Okay. Now, whether you go in once a week for 4 hours or you're teaching all day already as a lead guide, that really depends on you. So, you may be able to finish in a few months these 120 hours, or you may, need several months to do it. Okay, so it gets a little bit flexible here to your situation, but that also determines how long it may take you to finish your certification. Typically, I see those in Nido and toddler finish around a year or so, Children's House around 18 months. Okay, we highly encourage you to keep at a regular pace with your studies and finish within 2 years. You continue, have assessments during this time period before you hit to capstone. So you'll notice that in the capstone phase, you'll wrap up with workshops and albums and teaching reviews and assessments, but you have this in residency. So let me show you this resource you have here with our academic calendar. I mentioned the continuing study seminars and how I was going to show you an example. Um, there's three groupings of classes: the Montessori theory, micro, micro observation classroom leadership, targeted studies. They have different schedules, and you basically, let's say you finished on July 21st. So with foundational studies, you can already see there's classes going on. You could decide to take one set of classes at a time. You could take two or all three. All right. So again, depends on your intensity study of how, quickly you want to finish, I guess, and how much work you want in a week. All right. Because you could essentially take theory, let's say on Monday, targeted studies or micro observations on Tuesday, and targeted studies on Wednesdays, just for example. All right. So when you finish pretty much most of your studies, you'll head towards the in-residency. This is an example here where we're going to California later this year, in October 2023. We don't have the schedule up for 2024 yet, but we have several locations in mind. Just note that we are usually aiming to travel to Lake Forest, California at least once a year. And so you'll want to plan ahead. All right. I know it's towards the end of your training, but you'll want to be mindful that you'll need 3 weeks full time and that the travel costs to this is outside of tuition. All right. So if your employer, let's say, is sponsoring your tuition, you would definitely want to discuss with them what is their sponsorship for the travel for the residency. Whether that's you need to rent a car, you need to pay for a hotel and lodging, or you need to fly. All right, because you'll definitely want to be there at least a day ahead of time, right? And then this is a full day, so you may be able to leave that night, or probably not till the next day to wrap things up. You may need to arrange for childcare for those 3 weeks, or maybe some time off from work. All right. So we have a document on our website with a lot of the answers to frequently asked questions from do we offer childcare support? What about meals? What's the area like? Do you have discounted hotel rates? All of that is on our residency FAQ. So please be sure to check that document out, read through the website, check out your foundational study schedule that you want to apply to before you make your final decisions. We have all our upcoming cohorts. If you don't see one that works for you and the application open here, you can always view the academic calendar, and we hope to see you in a future cohort. Thank you.